Jason Burke is an award-winning Canadian filmmaker. Over the last decade, he has written and directed a wide variety of TV movies, series and documentaries, and his most recent project is much more personal. Music for Mandela is a documentary that demonstrates the power of music through Nelson Mandela's legacy and looks at how music kept Nelson Mandela's spirit alive when his image was banned. Well, let's take a quick look.
His name was kept alive, especially through music. There were songs for Mandela. We were talking about his story, his life.
There have been so many artists who've been inspired to write songs in tribute of Nelson Mandela.
Even when he was in prison, Mandela felt the need to use music as a tool.
Songs and music were unifiers, but not only that, they were also recruitment agencies into the struggle.
The little dance that Mandela did, it became such an iconic little dance, very simple side to side.
I'd pray for more Mandelas. If I could have one or two more, I think the world would be better.
Well, Jason joins me live in the studio. Jason, you're Canadian, so how on earth did you get to be interested in Nelson Mandela?
It's funny, because Mandela, he's such an international icon. I actually heard of him while I was growing up in St. John, New Brunswick, on the east coast of Canada, and it was through music. Much music, of course. A lot of the musicians that were involved in those Wembley Stadium concerts were Peter Gabriel, Rhythmics, all very big bands, all very big in Canada as well.
Now, we saw from that short video clip from your documentary that you had some very famous musicians in there. Tell us a bit more about the documentary. What exactly does it chart?
At first, when I set out to make the documentary, I was actually going to focus on those Wembley Stadium concerts, those iconic concerts back in the late '80s. First, being his 70th birthday tribute. But of course, it got a whole lot bigger. So I found, by exploring his legacy into music, how he used music personally as well as politically, all of a sudden it was incredible from an international level on how music was used, also music through the townships themselves in South Africa, and of course how it kept his spirit alive. And
he's an extraordinary figure, isn't he? Because he crosses generations.
Very much.
Even posthumously.
Yes, very much. It was interesting because the documentary itself, it is very music-based instead of, say, politically. And I found just the honesty and the respect that was coming out of the teenagers that I also interviewed, especially in Soweto, at some of the townships. It was incredible, just the waves of love in this new generation as well in South Africa. So that was quite inspiring. I learned a lot. It's always an incredible journey for me to work on these type of documentaries.
And this was your first visit to South Africa. So what was your impression?
It's interesting. As a Canadian going into it, admittedly, I could still see the scars, and I also saw a little bit of the paranoia as well. So there were specifically places I was told not to go to, but then when I go to certain townships and exploring that and doing interviews, I found that I was mostly surrounded by women and children. So it's, some parks you don't go to, but those, they're beautiful parks. So again, the paranoia, especially I found in Johannesburg, was there a little bit. But at the same time, it's such an incredible, beautiful place. And of course, the people were so generous, especially the subjects that I had the opportunity to interview. They all wanted to talk and open up and also sing, which was something which kind of gave the documentary a little bit more of a this musical element. My subjects actually sang quite a bit, from Bambaataa, his grandson, who's a hip-hop artist, who has his own rap about his grandfather, to Eddie Daniels, who was his best friend at Robben Island while he was in prison, talking about Christmas concerts Mandela would give to the prisoners, where Mandela himself would sing.
Did he have a good voice?
It's interesting because his voice is described as being very angelic. And how he used music personally, especially while at Robben Island, it was definitely used as a tool to uplift the spirits of the other prisoners. And that's something we uncovered. I never knew that Mandela actually sang and helped organize these Christmas concerts while in prison.
I would imagine, I visited Robben Island, I would imagine that being on an island and also in prison as well, you don't have any opportunity to hear music, and when you're starved of it, it must be an incredible thing to then listen to something once a year as a treat.
Oh, very, very much, especially with those concerts. They also sang while they were in the lime quarries as well. Right, yeah. Songs like Shosholoza, songs that were about where Mandela himself described the song is very much like an oncoming train. And, but at the same time, they would sing certain freedom songs that the guards wouldn't understand, but in many ways they were giving the finger to the establishment by singing these songs.
Empowering themselves.
They were always looking for ways to empower themselves, well even in prison.
And South African music is very upbeat as well, isn't it?
Very celebratory, and again, going into the culture of South Africa, of course, you know, it's from funerals to weddings. It just permeates the culture, I found, and it seemed like, again, everybody that we interviewed even had the ability to sing, which was wonderful.
Okay, and Jason, the film is premiering today. So where is it being shown?
Today, it's going to be shown. It's through Buff as part of the lead up to the Buff Festival. It's going to be at the beginning of September, and it's being shown at Channel 4. It's free to the public. We did sell out, so we have 2 showings, one at 3:30, one at 6:30. We're very hyped about it.
There's my ticket gone. Jason, thank you very much, and best of luck with the film.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on show.